Time to stock up on the tissues, hand soap, and cough drops. Doctors are getting ready for an uptick in flu, COVID, and RSV. So here to talk about how to keep your family from getting sick is Dr. Kris Bryant, the Associate Medical Director of Louisville's Health Department. She is also an infectious disease specialist at Norton Children's. So thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. So what are we seeing in terms of illnesses right now, and maybe what do we expect to see this season?
Cold and flu season is
It's
almost here, right? It's right around the corner. Last year, we started to see an uptick in respiratory viral illness in October, and that continued throughout January. And so, we're just on the edge of it right now. We're not seeing too much COVID. We see occasional cases. COVID activity is low. We're seeing occasional flu cases. Flu season's not yet here. RSV. At Norton Children's, we're starting to see more children test positive for RSV. We're at the beginning of the RSV season.
So not so bad right now, it sounds, but in terms of prevention, it might be that time of year where it's getting cold, we're staying inside, not so active, not getting our vitamin D, maybe eating not so great because it's the holidays. What can we do to boost our immune systems during this time?
One is just to prevent coming into contact with germs. So hand washing, hand washing, hand washing. Stay away from sick people if you can. If you're sick, stay home to avoid exposing others. People who are at risk to get really sick from any of these viruses may choose to wear a mask when they're in public, especially a crowded public place where they can't move away from somebody who's coughing. And then, of course, vaccines. RSV, flu, and COVID are all vaccine preventable illnesses now.
And so if, this might be a big concern for parents, if their child is sick, at what point do they say, oh, we might get better at home, or when should I go see a doctor?
The easy answer is if a parent's worried, reach out to the pediatrician and ask for advice. A child who has a high fever, a prolonged fever, a fever that lasts for more than a couple of days, or a child who's having trouble breathing or not eating and drinking well. Those are all reasons to call the pediatrician.
All right, a lot of good tips there. Now, we also recently talked to a Louisville family whose baby was diagnosed with an illness that maybe a lot of people have never heard of. It is called Kawasaki disease. It causes inflammation of the blood vessels, and some of those symptoms might be a long fever, red eyes, cracked lips, swollen hands, a rash. How often do doctors here in Louisville see Kawasaki disease?
Kawasaki isn't reportable. Now, if you look at the American Academy of Pediatrics website, they estimate that across the U.S. there are more than 4,000 cases every year of Kawasaki. At Norton Children's, I would say we see about a dozen cases a year.
Okay, and it's also important to make sure you talk to your doctor as well, tell them all the symptoms, I'm assuming. So thank you so much, Dr. Bryant. We appreciate your time as always.
Thank you.